who passed away last year. He was the most liberal 96-year-old man that I knew, and I don't think I'd be here standing today without his constant encouragement of better and higher pursuits. He was also the first person to donate and sponsor the Sikh Monologues project, and I'd like to think that he wasn't just investing in me, but investing in the ethos of the project, which is storytelling. Everyone has a story, no matter your race, religion, ethnicity, gender. Everyone carries their thoughts and ideas and experiences with them like a badge of honor. And that's exactly what it should be, a badge of honor. The Sikh Monologues project gives us the rare opportunity to hear the anxieties, the fears, and the unfettered passion of Sikhs and lives across America. It began with a simple idea. What if Sikhs were able to tell their own stories? What if there was a platform to reflect, to speak, to encourage those voices to come out? What if America didn't get to dictate everything we stand for, believe in, and look like? The answers to these questions became simple. Go out there and listen. Go ask questions, probe for more answers, get people talking. And so I did. What makes you anxious? What does love look like? What does it mean? What does it mean to call your guru your guru? And I traveled across 15 cities, interviewed almost 156, and stayed with family, friends, strangers, community, Sunday. And I now know my way around 20 plus gurdwaras, places of worship around the US. And I can help you with any field you might be interested in, whether it's comedy, chemical engineering, or how to drive a cab. All you have to do is ask. But before I move on, I want to answer a question that may be lingering for many of you. What is a monologue? According to Webster's dictionary, a monologue is a long speech presented by one person that prevents anyone else from speaking. And although tonight you will hear performers, more than one performer on stage at a time, I adopted the term for this project because monologues are a means of telling stories. And tonight, you will hear stories of Sikhs that I met across the United States. You will hear about the struggles of immigration, of children of diaspora navigating one religion and two cultures in a place that is home but not homeland. You will hear about a man who is asking us to all show a little love, and about a woman who decided to value her faith above anything else. These stories are based on fact. Some are based on one person, some on 50, but each and every story that you hear tonight has been directly impacted and influenced by real people that I met. However, I would also like to say that this is not an all-inclusive show. I have chosen to show a diversity of the stories that I encountered, but I do not in any way try to represent everyone. But I'm excited that you are here tonight to hear these stories. So a little logistics before we get started. One, there are additional exits in the building, so please locate your additional exit. Two, please turn off your cell phones. Our actors have worked really, really hard to make this performance possible, so I don't want your ringtones to be disturbing them. I really appreciate it. And three, please can we practice our snapping? Thank you. So if you hear something that really touches you tonight, that speaks to you, that you identify with up on stage, and I know it's going to happen, please snap. These stories are as much about you hearing them as the people who inform them. So please engage. And lastly, please be reminded that these are not the actors' stories. They are performing other stories. They're not performing their personal stories. And with that, we begin with something fundamental. What is Sikhism? What brings this group of people together? I would ask this question to young children around the US. And this first piece is an answer to that question without interpretation, without politics, but through the innocent perception of a child. What do I think of it? I
I think to be Sikh means to be a disciple or a learner, to believe in the 10 Gurus and Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and all the scripture that we have. More, I don't know what to say. I think it means getting close to God and how to get rid of ego and respect. Respect is my number one big thing because there's a lot of intolerant people out there, a lot of uneducated people out there, and I like that we get the chance to educate them because we're open-minded and we don't try to convert people or anything like that. Sikhi has played a big part in my life because we stand out in society because of our identity, because of the way that we look. And it gives us a different perspective because we have the same background. Like when I'm going through something really difficult, I know that people died for me so that I could have this freedom. And that's really scary, but that's really awesome too. And there's seva. Every Friday, I go to Gurdwara, and there's this thing called a food pantry, and we give food out to anyone who really wants it, and it makes them really happy, and that makes me really happy. And I like that, and I think that comes from Sikhi. And there's Punjabi school, and I think I like that. We learn about Guru Nanak and how to read Punjabi and write in Punjabi and Sikh history, and I think that's fun too. And I love going to Gurdwara on Sundays because then I get to see all my friends, and I think I relate to them more than I do my friends at school because we have the same background, and like when I'm going through something hard, I know I could talk to them because they'll understand. They're more like family than friends, really. And I guess the last thing I'd like to say is I know it's really hard to be born into a Sikh family, and I'm really lucky, so I want to respect that privilege that I have. Thank you.
Sikhs have been immigrating to the US since the 1890s with peak waves in the 1960s and 80s. Leaving home requires determination, risk, and tremendous amounts of hope. Sometimes the journey can be straightforward, but more often than not, it's convoluted and messy. I talked to people who came through Germany, Lebanon, Nicaragua, in the backs of cars covered by blankets to cross borders. One woman waited 10 years to get her visa to be reunited with her husband. Young engineers came to this country and had to learn a new social language, how to dress for an interview, where to buy groceries. Wives came and experienced intense loneliness. School teachers became gas station workers to make it work. That story of landing in a new place with just a few dollars in your pocket and no support system, that's a true story, told to me over and over again through my travels. You never know where you'll end up. You never know what decisions you'll have to make. You never know what beliefs you might have to compromise upon. This next piece is about a child of immigration.
It is the morning of June 3rd, 2009, a Sunday. The sun shines through my kitchen window, kissing my Dadi Ma's golden brown skin as she makes aloo parotas and scrambled eggs in the kitchen. My Papaji sits confidently at the head of the table, mixing 2 packets of equal into his morning job. I smile at the scene, inhaling the picturesque moment. This is all I've ever known. Family, home-cooked food to comfort our belly as daylight dances on the white tiles. The warmth and wisdom of our eyes that have seen so much more than high school locker rooms and Harry Potter movie premieres. We have a history, realities that the ink in my pens can't handle. Sometimes I wonder if I'm simply a product of how messed up our world can be. That I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the refugee narrative of my grandparents. That my privilege is somehow justified by the past. The way my Dali Ma can make anything taste just a little sweeter because she battled against bitter pains her entire life. How my dad's suffering made it possible for me to thrive. I now understand why appreciation was one of the first words he ever taught me to value. Appreciate your life. Appreciate the television sets, the PlayStation games, and the laptops that are all at your fingertips. Soak in the warm water that runs freely down your back. And allow the air that caresses your skin as you race across heat-kissed blades of grass. They cushion your feet as you play kickball in the back. Thank you for this life. This life. That grew from the crackles in my grandfather's hands and the blisters in my grandmother's feet. From the sweat that trickled down my mother's neck as she worked her father's job in Punjab. This life. That did not seem possible in 1972 when my grandparents' father and chachas were forced out of their home country when Idi Amin overthrew Uganda's government, becoming just another statistic of ethnic cleansing. Completely unaware of where they would flee and how they would take ownership of their lives again. This life that was succeeded and earned, that stemmed from decades of loneliness and defeat, from the empty pockets that have entered this country and the 12-hour workdays that have built this life. I watched my little brother hop around on one foot, avoiding the cracks that will supposedly break our mother's back. Ironically, it's her backbone that has kept us from breaking for so long. But he's too young to realize that. I wonder what he will think whether he should avoid cracked tiles or not. He will simply walk across the roots our family has planted into the strong and solid ground. Our grandparents' smiles have always been so convincing. Our parents constantly shielding us from the problems that they have had to face. The roof above our heads always felt like it was custom made for the both of us. And all we knew were stories.
When I was in elementary school, I was told, get good grades so I could get into the GATE and honors program in high school. And so I did. When I was in high school, I was told, get a high SAT score so I could get into a good college, and so I did. When I was in a good college, I was told, get a high GPA so I could get a good job, and so I did. When I had a good job, I was told, we need to find you a good husband. So they did. One night, Facebook no khulde chachi ki behan de monia di photo one of them. When I was married, I was told, now double your size. And so I did. And when out came a girl, I was told, you have to complete the family. Have a beta. And so I said, if you wanted a cattle to control, try the farms of the happy cows of California.
One of the 5 articles of the Sikh faith is to keep gesh, or hair. Additionally, our 10th guru, or spiritual leader, bestowed upon us the crown of the turban, or the star. It was a means of 1, keeping head hair clean, but 2, to make a statement that the turban is not exclusive to royalty, that all human beings are equal. The turban has thus become a symbol of both human equality and the Sikh identity. Sikh women often struggle with the concept of keeping all hair and choosing whether or not to wear the star. This next piece is based on conversations with several women and their decisions regarding hair.
This is why I don't shave my legs. Take a look. Take a nice, good look. Not your normal vision of drop dead gorgeous, is it? Well, lucky for me, I just had to fall in love with the way I can run my hands through my hair. It's soft and smooth and airy, and there's never a chance of growing stubble to make this experience anything less than perfect. My underarms? I'm not as much of a fan of that. I sweat after 2 minutes of any kind of exercise, including brisk walking. So the collections of aromas that nest in the hairs of my underarms are often not so ideal, but I can deal with it. I have found men's deodorant to be a very powerful friend. Perhaps the best part for the money-conscious self within me is the approximately $120 I get to save every month by not ascribing to waxing services, or the 3 hours of shower time I get to skip out on by not having to shave anything, ever. It wasn't always like this, though. It's not like I have no awareness of the outside world and the perfect packages of what women's bodies should look like. The first time it kind of came up was when we had some class in middle school, the age when everyone's hormones kicked in and all of a sudden libidos were raging, forcing them to decide what was hot and what was not. I remember sitting there and looking at my legs, my hairy legs, my hairy arms, everything. And all the other girls were like perfectly smooth. I remember I could hear guys snickering and commenting about my hair. I felt my hair burning on my legs. I just generally did not understand why I could not shave my legs, not cut my hair, things like that. So I think that's when it hit me hardcore, and I went home that day and I broke down and I asked my mom why I just couldn't do it. My mom hugged me. She told me that I am a Sardarni, that I am stronger than my tears. She told me that I can get through this, that she loves me, that my gurus love me. She told me to go back to school the next day with confidence, but she also said that if I do not feel comfortable in my own skin, then she would not stop me. She told me to reconsider in 1 week. I went back to school the next day, and each day after that. 1 week later, my mom asked me if I still wanted to shave my legs. No, I said. I am a Sardarni. I'm stronger than that. You love me, and my gurus love me. She smiled. My dasar, my turban, was a completely different story. The more beautiful I started to feel with the hair on my skin, the more I started thinking about the hair on my head. I started to feel a lot of connection with the idea of matching my external identity to matching them to thoughts and love for the Sikh faith that was growing within me. Around that time, I went to a Sikh camp over the summer and decided to start tying the star for camp. Well, not tying it myself, but asking others to tie it on me. I remember one night having my counselors tie it 3 different ways before finding the style that made me feel secure and satisfy my inner diva. I felt like a superstar walking around camp for that week, proudly wearing my dastar and being very thankful that I didn't have to worry about my chunni falling off my head every 2 minutes. My Sangat, my community, was supportive. I was on top of the world. It felt so good to feel whole, to feel like my outside matched my inside. When I came home, though, my parents were anything but happy. My mom was a little hurt. I think she thought that I would have asked her about this huge decision before I did it. I know I should have. My dad became seriously concerned about my prospects for marriage, as if my only purpose in life is to get married. I didn't understand it. He's the one that pushed me to go to med school, to be independent, to be self-sufficient. But he's always wanted me to settle down with someone, to stake my roots somewhere. I think he thought my dasar would weaken my chances of that. He didn't have any of this concern for my brother, who also wears a dasar. Sikh boys wearing a dasar and Sikh girls wearing a dasar, or choosing not to shave, should be held in unison by the community. However, Sikh boys are praised for upholding Sikhi, whereas at the very least, girls are implicitly chastised. I pride myself on the fact that Sikhi believes in human equality, but I could not understand my own parents holding my brother and I to different standards of beauty. Since when was getting married all about how I looked? And for God's sake, why was no one asking me if my new external features correlated with a more developed inner morality, a closeness to my faith? Why did no one care about that? I do care about how I look. I didn't grow up thinking I was gonna wear a turban. That's not how I imagined myself in the mirror. But it kind of just happened, and it feels right. And I'd rather feel right with myself than hold back, just to find a husband or just to please my parents' version of a beautiful woman. In the end, I know I'll be okay. Look, I do care about how I look. I have perfected the smoky eye. I realize my body is pear-shaped, so I always dress accordingly. I have started working out 4 times a week, partly to stay healthy, but also to maintain in vanity the way I look. I wear the star because that's when I feel most beautiful. It's so much more than a piece of cloth on my head. It's my ticket to confidence, to identity, to feeling whole. It's my way of expressing my inner feminist, my way of saying no to accepted beauty standards, to the hairless, smooth, light-skinned woman, and to my parents' own version of beauty. I decide the world has become a place where I am a sovereign. I decide what's beautiful based on how I feel, not on how I look. And right now, I feel like a queen.
Love is sometimes an illusion we create for ourselves. We imagine beautiful perfection and endless laughter and smiles, and although we might recognize that it won't be so rosy, when we picture love in the confines of our mind, we imagine something that exudes light and optimism. This next piece captures the emotion that many people shared with me when I interviewed them. It speaks of that unadulterated hope that young men and women have for themselves when they picture the love they could have for themselves.
She can't be too controlling because I like my independence. But I want someone who respects what I respect and has the same values as me. Values are important. Respect. Understanding.
I want someone who can keep up, support me no matter what my goals are. The plan right now is to finish up my master's and then head back to North Carolina to find a job.
I think I would want them to be Indian. I know my mom prefers it to be Sikh, and Dad doesn't say anything. I prefer at least brown. Actually, probably Sikh too. Just because I'm proud of my Sikhi and who I am, and I would want that to continue on in my family. I think we would have a lot more shared interests that way. That shared upbringing could help in the future.
I want someone creative because that opens up your mind to so many more things. It makes you more open-minded and innovative. And I think relationships really need that freshness.
Someone who's family-oriented as well, because let's face it, we're Indian, and it's never just two people getting married. It's the entire family. It doesn't matter if one person's from Chandigarh and the other one's from Ohio. Every family member will find a way to play a role in your life.
I want someone with similar experiences in their upbringing. I want my kids to be exposed to Sikhi. Whether they choose to follow it or not, I want them exposed to it. Which is why I can see myself with someone Punjabi. I like that idea of continuity and how in a marriage, it's not just two people, but two families coming together.
And they have to be honest.
And funny, I hope.
I know it's a lot. It's not a checklist or anything.
Just some things I've thought about.
I want a friend in this life. Love matters, but after love, friendship is the most important.
I just really hope I don't get bored. I mean, I have to spend the rest of my life with them. I hope we get along. That part scares me the most.
You know, I actually met someone a few months ago. Well, not exactly met, but re-met. We kind of grew up together. We would see each other at yearly camps, get together 2 or 3 times a year, and we just became friends. We kind of lost touch when I went off to college, though.
While I was visiting my uncle in Houston, we went to a family friend's party. And that's when I saw him. For the first time in years. I'd forgotten how well we got along as 15, 16-year-olds just running around at camp. His name is Sean. After the party, he talked to his mom talked to my uncle, and now, well, I guess we're talking.
You know what? I don't know what to think. She's nothing I thought I ever wanted. She's this crazy adventurer, and I'm more of a homebody.
He doesn't like art. I mean, he appreciates what I paint, but he can't stand it when I ask him to look at someone else's work.
You know, she wears this really heavy eyeliner that makes her look like a raccoon sometimes.
He eats with his mouth slightly open.
She always wants to split the bill.
But he always remembers my mom's birthday.
And she's perfectly okay with me having my alone time on Sundays.
It makes me question, should I really be looking for someone that fits all these important checklist items, or does personality matter more? Should I just settle?
Doesn't feel like I'm settling.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this checklist now. This next piece is about the real, unedited experiences of Sikhs across America. What you will hear are direct quotes from men and women of all ages in responses to questions about discrimination and negativity they have faced.
You stand out, no matter what.
There was always a feeling that I'm different. People used to not exactly stare, but I would feel it.
In 3rd grade, someone cut my hair because, actually, I don't even know why. I came home crying from school that day. I felt really sad.
I have a turban. That does not mean I beat up my wife. I have a beard. That does not mean I cannot sit amongst 2 people and have a decent conversation. I look like this. It does not mean I can only work at 7-Eleven. It does not mean I can only drive a cab.
There is a severe want of identity. Like, what is a Sikh? What does it really mean?
In high school, a girl told me that it was disgusting that I didn't cut my hair. And that was the reason she wouldn't be my friend.
There is a small difference when you are even flying by the plane. And the air hostess she talks to you, then she talks to a white person next to you. There is a small difference. Either you learn to accept that difference and don't worry about that, or you complain about that. I never complain. I think that's part of life.
I was in downtown and there was this kid. He says to me, "Are you gonna blow up this building?" I was on the phone, so I told him to hold on for a minute. He was like, "Oh, are you really?" I think he was just messing around. He goes into this coffee shop and I follow him inside to ask him what he wanted. I think he got scared. He ran out. It was funny for me.
In college, there was this guy pointing at me, kind of like, "Look at this girl, look at her face."
I was a professor. In the beginning, when I entered in the class, and the first reaction from the students would be sort of shock. Who's this guy with the turban? Even in the beginning, some of the other professors would ask me, "Hey Jazz, when are you going back?"
I've gotten stares at the gym. I've gotten looks because of the hair on my legs. But I have to brush it off. If it wasn't hair, it could have been something else.
People would look at me funny. He is in high school. He looks like he's in college. Why is he still in high school? So I started trimming it down.
There are three categories of people: misinformed, uninformed, and biased. We have to watch out for people who are biased. Misinformed and uninformed people, they want to know something. But biased people, they don't want to know anything. They just want to get into an argument.
I'm scared for my brother. I feel like girls don't get ridiculed as much as guys do. And that's why I'm nervous. I'm scared for what he is going to face.
They perceive me as a Muslim. The first thing when they enter in my cab would be, "Are you a Muslim?"
I was called terrorist.
Foreigner.
Osama.
Security breach.
As if it's okay to characterize anyone like this.
Politically, we're not even on the radar.
They start calling, my son was told by the other kids that the long hair is only for the girls. And the boys, they don't have long hair. So he started acting like a girl.
Discrimination is everywhere in the world, everywhere, every side.
I cut my hair because I was the only guy with a patka. Maybe if we saw other kids with patkas, things would have been easier. My mom used to cut my hair in the house for a long time. The teasing stopped.
It's hard for immigrant parents to see their children as Americans. It's like, what were you thinking when you came to this new country? They aren't going to carry the old country with them.
I think people are more forgiving when it comes to accepting color, but when it comes to a turban, they are pretty much non-receptive.
My public image, I guess my reputation, I care about how people perceive me, how they look at me.
I was maybe 12 or 13 when I stopped going to church. I guess I got burnt out. I was looking for something more. That's when I found Sikhism.
I was afraid. I know where to draw the line, but I was still afraid. I didn't want others to think less of me if they found out that I was out partying or dancing or something else.
On 9/11, I was in Ohio. My office people called me and told me, "You should start wearing a cap. You shouldn't wear a turban." And then my wife said the same. And for a while I did. And then I went back. At the time, I used to wear a small turban, and it actually looked like a Taliban turban. I guess they were just trying to look out for me.
My dad, he used to work at a gas station, and he had lived in America for 20 years before he was shot. My dad and my uncle were both killed on the same day at Oak Creek. My Tayaji, his son was in India at that time. He was only 7 months old. He had never seen his father. He will never see his father.
I don't think the Sangat here understand the real impact of the shooting in the Gurdwara. For them, it is just another Gurdwara. On a typical Sunday, they go to Gurdwara, they do their normal stuff, but they don't feel like it's a home for them. It hit hard for the people who are born and raised in America, who actually think they are American and who actually feel like they're American.
In 2004, I was at the airport. Mind you, these were the days where you could not print your boarding pass at home. I get my boarding pass from the guy at the ticket counter, and as I'm leaving, he calls me back. He's got this look on his face. He says, "Sir, I have a different boarding pass for you," and gives me a new one with a big X on the side. He told me the computer randomly chose me for additional screening. I knew what he was doing.
They stopped calling me a French boy for my long hair. It used to bug me a lot, but I never told my teacher a thing. I never heard the word bullying before, but this was the first form of it which I had experienced.
I was studying at Borders. I went upstairs to go use the bathroom, and these kids started yelling, "He's gonna blow up the bathroom! He's gonna blow up the bathroom!"
Sometimes it's not even about anything else, not even about the color of your skin. It's just rude girls. Girls will be girls, right?
I was walking downtown, and this kid starts yelling, "Obama! Obama!" I didn't know whether to laugh at him or get angry. I think he wanted to say Osama, but he said Obama.
I was the only Indian girl in my elementary school. So when we studied India, the teacher would look at me and ask if she was teaching the right thing. And I had no idea. I had never been to India. I had never lived in India. I mean, I knew as much as the Mary next to me.
I have to live for myself because those people that judge me are not going to be with me. That's kind of what I'm struggling with right now. I can care so much about it. It becomes damaging.
I think the biggest struggle is me. I try to do something else. I want to do something else, but it's the people around me, society around me, who tries to define my life. It wants me to raise myself according to them. And I think that's the biggest struggle with my family and with my parents. So I can either follow society or I can follow my heart. And I'm just trying to follow my heart.
I think it's more about humanity. I don't think it's Sikhi versus American or others. If people are discriminating, it is a moral issue. I think entire system is lacking awareness. Why would you attack someone for their being different? It's their right to be who they are, and it's our right to be who we are.
We're all human beings. We were not born to hurt each other or to discriminate. So why then do I feel like my country is not my home?
This next piece is about aunties and how sometimes the Gurdwara, the Sikh place of worship, is not just a place for spiritual growth.
Hello, sweetie. Auntie, man. Our husbands have both gone to the Gurdwara meeting. Let us sit down with some cha, take a gulab jamun, and talk about our zindagi. Take gulab jamun. I think I'll just have the cha. Why, sweetie? Gulab jamuns are your favorite. What happened to you? Pinky, can I tell you the truth, or do you want me to do the truth? Honestly, sweetie, I never say anything behind anyone's back. My back? Your back. Okay, good. Pinky, तेरे गुलाब जामुन का स्वाद भी नहीं है. They're the worst things I've ever tasted in my life. Why? My kids love my recipe. What happened to you? Honestly, I think old age has caught up with you. I think your taste buds have gone kaput. If you want to talk about bad gulab jamuns, let's talk about Dimples. Yeah. She can't even make it longer. No tarka, no loon, no masala, no sour chipotle sauce, no mayonnaise, no sour cream, no nothing. This is why we're the best of friends.
The best. She truly is a bad cook. She can make anything good. But we could talk about that anytime. Did you hear the latest about Dimple son Raj? He did not even get to one dental.
Hi. Ik ben niet.
Wait, listen to me.
That boy just Raj used to be such a smart kid. He used to shine bright, like a diamond. All of a sudden he went to college and started hanging out with God knows who.
I don't know.
One time, I even saw him at the mall.
Which one?
Stormbridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I saw him at the mall, hanging out with a girl, whose dress didn't even touch her knees.
Courtney? That boy is nice. He needs to stop fooling around. He's 25.
But Jesus.
That's too much. He needs to get married now.
But how can he get married when he can't even have his own career? He still works for his father. How can he support a wife and kids?
I don't know. Can I tell you something, or do you want me to do the truth?
Sweetie, you know you can tell me anything. I never talk about anyone's business behind their back.
Are you sure it's my back?
Your back.
Okay, good. I heard the latest that from Bubbly's sister, Raj,
Don't say it.
is dating.
Don't say it.
Manpreet.
This is a mistake.
That's what I said.
Just compare his family status to her family status. He practically comes from royalty, businessmen, doctors, electrical engineers, bioengineers, heavy engineers, chemical engineers. And she comes from a household that isn't even educated.
I know. They don't even go to the same Gurdwara. She goes to El Sobrante, he goes to Fremont, her parents go to Fresno. I don't know.
Kids these days are just so liberal. Whenever I was at Gurdwara, my parents never let me talk to any boys. Even outside of Gurdwara, I would get tappers all the time, left and right.
Me too. Oh, Pinky, did you remember to tell Paisan to put your name in the glass? Because he cut the piyaj for langar. Oh, and your niece took her second step today, right?
Oh, Auntie. That is the first thing that I did when I came to Gurdwara this morning at 6:59 a.m. for Asli Var after I ate my pakode.
Wow, you are the best Sikh ever.
The best.
Jinni thodi cut.
Too much adrak. Sweetie, we have both finished our jar now. This was a nice break from the kirtan, but it is time to go back inside the Darbar hall and listen.
You're right, Pinky, but I don't even like coming to Gurdwara anymore.
Why?
I come here for positivity and all I get is negativity behind my back. I want to talk to my guru, but they talk about me. Like, what is this? I really don't know, Pinky.
Sweetie, I understand, but today is a very special occasion. Principal Dr. Baisa Bhai Chand Surma Singh ji is here.
Not the He really is. Wait, do you hear that? Are my ears deceiving me?
Probably.
Is that white group being sung to the tune of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai?
That's like my favorite tune ever, even better than the Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham version.
You're right, but I think Kirtan should be done in Rag.
I agree.
Yeah, but wait, before we go, do you see that laddus over there next to the baby we don't like?
You don't like her.
I just want one laddu. Do you think that's okay? I feel like people call me Moti Chinani behind my back.
No, sweetie. People do call you Moti Chinani behind your back. But you are a strong, confident woman. Eat 5 laddus.
I will.
Eat 10 laddus.
I will have.
Just get regular doctor checkups for your cholesterol.
You're right.
We'll go to the gym together. That's it.
One in 4 women report experiencing violence from a current or former spouse or boyfriend at least once in their lifetime. In the South Asian community, these numbers are worse. Domestic abuse happens. It is real, and it certainly happens within the Sikh community. This next piece speaks to that harsh reality that so many women around the world face every single day.
I think I was in shock the first time it happened. This wasn't like him. This wasn't the man I married. This isn't something that happens to me. I went to bed that night, not knowing how to feel. My left rib was hurting, so I took a couple Advils. It felt better. I still slept next to him. I didn't know where else I could sleep. I don't know if I realized what he did was wrong that first time. We were just arguing over where we were going to send our son to school the following year. I let it go. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want my kids to know anything. This was their father. I didn't want my mother-in-law to know. I didn't want to create tension in the house. It happened again. And again. I found myself trying to find excuses to stay at work longer. I was working as an office manager at a publishing company. My kids could stay at school until 6 every day. I'd pick them up early so we could spend some time with each other. I'd go home and cut them each a pear with a glass of milk. But now, they were safer at school. I was safer at work. I would take the long way home. I know I'd get late for making dinner, but I just wanted to be out of the house as much as possible. Do you know what it feels like to not feel safe in your own home?
I knew what was going on soon enough. But what could I do? He's my son. I suppose he has the right to discipline his wife as he thinks fit. I didn't know how he would react. I didn't want to interfere. I didn't even know how to approach the situation.
The first time I heard she's being abused, my faith died inside. I went to her. Do you want to leave? I can get you to a safe place. I can find a place for your kids where they will be out of danger. I can help. Just please let me help you.
I wanted to leave. I never saw myself facing this. Never in 1,000 years. I don't know what triggered it in him. I never felt unsafe when we first married. At first, he would say or do things when the kids had gone to bed. Then, he just stopped caring whether they were around or not. They were so young, 7 and 10. I started fearing for my kids. What if he went further? What if he did something to them?
She wanted to leave. So badly, she wanted to leave.
She'll be fine. She has to be fine. Where would she go? Her parents are in India. She has no one here. She has to stay. I'll try talking to him, but she has to stay.
I left. I had to. I know I am alone here. I know my family might have not approved of this. I know all of this. I had to leave. For my kids, I had to leave. I went to my Sangat. They supported me more than I thought. The women, they understood somehow.
When we went to court, The judge told us the most common name they hear in domestic violence cases in this city is Singh. Singh, our name, our Guru's name. Singh, strength, courage, power, integrity, dignity.
Singh, abuser, rapist, suppressor, manipulator.
I couldn't believe it. One day, I woke up and she was gone. My son was in shock as well. I know he loved her. He didn't know how it happened, how it became so bad. I suppose she did what was best for her. I don't know how she's doing, but she shouldn't have left. Maybe we could have fixed everything.
I do not know why, but some men feel they have the right to suppress, to overpower women, may that be verbally or physically. I do not think this is unique only to the Sikh men, but this is the community I deal with. This is where I see it happen too often. I help where I can, but I cannot force anything.
I cannot believe women go through this so often. At first, I stayed because of my children. Eventually, I left for them. It wasn't easy. I had to start my life all over again. They don't tell you these things when you're first getting married. They don't tell you anything. They don't tell you what you'll have to deal with. That America is not the answer to everything. That a man is not the ticket to happiness. But I got out. And I'm going to make sure more women get out. We shouldn't be afraid of Rasa Sangh. We shouldn't be afraid of what our Gurdwara Sangat might think. We are women, independent and strong. We are mothers of children who deserve a safe upbringing. We will raise them by ourselves rather than subject them to subordination, a pain I only thought existed in hell. We are stronger than we think. We are bolder than we know. We will fight back. We are coming.
Don't talk too loud.
ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੋਭਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੀ।
Always look pretty.
ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਸ ਨੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ?
Tell Beer to do the dishes.
ਹਾਏ ਉਹ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ।
Mom, do you like my dress?
ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਦੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਈ? ਕੱਪੜਾ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ।
Don't forget you're fair and lovely.
ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਕਾਲੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਲੱਭਣਾ ਔਖਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ।
Can I go out to dinner with my friends?
ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਵੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਜਾਣਾ।
I want to join the basketball team.
ਹਾਏ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਬਜ਼ੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਤੇ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਲੈ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ।
Stay away from boys.
ਤੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੀ ਹੈ।
Don't get fat.
ਸਿਰਫ ਪਤਲੀਆਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਸੋਹਣੀਆਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ।
I want to go to law school.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਤੇ ਕਰਾ ਲੈ।
Sometimes I wish I was a boy.
ਕਾਤੇ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ।
This last piece is based on several people's experiences on what happens when we preach acceptance, respect, and love, but don't take the time to create that within our own spaces of worship.
Trying to find a way to tell you why I left that conference early. Why I've never really felt like I'm a part of my own community. I want to tell you that I've never really felt sick enough. That growing up, being sick meant families outcasting mine because we weren't the right cast. My family and I moved to Ohio when I was in the 6th grade. Until then, the smells and the colors and the sounds of Sikhs of Himachal Pradesh was all I knew. And that was home. Home was speaking Hindi. Home was going to the Gurdwara every day after school because that's what my dad did. I wanted to be just like him. Ohio was different. Ohio was about the super sick and the super not sick. And I was somewhere in the middle, unacceptable for anybody. Ohio didn't understand my immigration history. The fact that I knew Hindi dubbed me as the confused child who didn't understand his roots. I, the honor student, was apparently confused. I grew up reading Japji Sahib every single morning. I woke to the sound of Kirtan playing in my house every single morning, and when it wasn't on, I felt very uneasy. These were the sounds and the rituals and the routines embedded within me. So I grew up longing for more Sikh friends. My parents taught me Sikh. They taught me to love our faith, find strength in our teachings. Naam japo, kirat karo, band chapo. Remember the divine, work hard, share your money, wealth, knowledge. They never taught me about ego or judgment. So when the egos of the aunties and the uncles and the kids that grew up tried so hard to put me down, I turned my back on Sikh. Sikh meant hypocrisy, judgment, exclusivity. Sikh meant being asked what I was even trying to do when I was serving langar or putting away shoes. Why would he want to do seva if he doesn't keep his hair? As if selfless service is something exclusive to Sikhs who keep their hair. As if selfless service is something exclusive to Sikhs at all. Sikh meant aunties gossiping so much that my mom stopped going to Gurdwara completely. Because for her, it was easier to talk to God in private than in halls filled with mass religiosity. Sikh meant my sister cutting her hair. Because hey, why keep something for a religion that didn't know how to love you back? Sikh meant uncles caring more about money and power than about the sustainability and welfare of our houses of worship. Sikh meant hurt, and it meant pain, and memories of feeling unwanted. Sikh meant that as much as I wanted to be a disciple of this world, I was too jaded by judgmental Sangat to do so. When I left Ohio for college, I left completely broken, devoid of faith. I left as a vessel of spite. But like a giant tidal wave, faith came crashing back at freshman orientation. 4 years I spent at an institution nurturing my confidence back. And you know what? It was my white friends, and my black friends, and my Muslim friends, and my Catholic friends that built me back up. They gave me the confidence to follow the values on which I was raised. And I discovered something. And it wasn't the faith that I found corrupt, but the people I had encountered within it. What I'm trying to tell you is that I turned my back on the Sikh community to find myself. And now, I'm turning to Sikhi to find family. So this past January, I went to that conference. I thought it would make me brave. I thought it would be a valiant effort. Face your past. Prove it to them all. Screw Ohio! left after one day. I left after one day because there was too many Sikhs, too many people who could close doors in my face, laughed at my Punjabi, laughed at my hair. I left after one day because I was too afraid to find out if things had actually changed or not. I've been friends with another Sikh person in 10 years. I'm a grown man, too afraid to face those who look like me. Because for me, fear is a sword that attacks unexpectedly. An auntie's dirty look, an uncle's arrogant tone, a friend's judgmental stare. But now I realize that fear is something we create for ourselves, that we use to attack ourselves over and over again while we will progress at arm's length. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that bullying doesn't just occur when a white boy pulls off a brown boy's parka. That there are things our own community does to people within that community, with words, with judgment, with hate, that can't be easily forgotten with time. I was robbed of the comfort that every boy and every girl deserves when they go to the Gurdwara to learn Japji Sahib, to Mata Tek, to do Seva. Bullying hurt me bad. Now I realize that I can't judge my entire community based off one Gurdwara, because that would be judging. And you're Sikh, just like me. You sat here listening to me. The least I can do is listen back.
This project has been in the works for 2 years now. This is the third production, as I said, and I'm really excited that I had this incredible cast with me on this journey. I'd like to recognize a few people before the night ends who made this project possible. Sikh Spirit Foundation, the Sponge Network, Jagada, Salda, Surat, and MedTech. Each of these organizations has supported me in countless ways, whether it was financial support, lending me their listers, lending me their receipt books, advertising this event. And without these organizations and the incredible Sevadars working for them, the Sikh Monologues project, like this project, wouldn't have been possible. Also, thank you to all of you, my casting crew. I'm really, really proud of what you did tonight and how far we've come. We've been working on this for only a month, and what you saw tonight, I thought were incredible storytelling abilities. My incredible family. My cousin Duggan, I call my executive assistant. Anything I needed, I call him, and he was there for me. My Masi, my parents who are here. So thank you so much to my family for all putting in work and making this production happen. And my friends who came out here today. Quick announcement. So
I'm part of the Jagada movement. Several of us up here are. There's a conference, Lilgar, which happens June 18th to the 21st this year. I would encourage all of you, there's flyers in the lobby, to just pick up a flyer if you don't already know what the Jagada movement is. The conference was my first introduction, kind of getting into the Sikh community and getting into kind of activism and networking within the community. The conference was a great way for me to meet people. It was also really fun. So anyone who isn't familiar with the Jagada movement, please grab a flyer outside. I would really appreciate it. Last but not least, thank you for coming. I hope that the stories you heard tonight might inspire conversation and reflection. I hope that you were able to see a little bit of yourselves in each story that came out tonight. And if these stories spoke to you, or if this project speaks to you, I humbly request that you donate outside. This is a community event. I have been completely funded by friends and family and Sikh organizations. So if this is, and I plan to not stop. I'm going to New York this summer and I don't want to stop after that. So if this is something that you can put yourself behind, I would really, really appreciate it if you donate outside. And that's it. Thank you for coming and good night.
Go,